What's up, everybody? My name is Manish, and this is Making Movies in My Mom's Basement. I need you to do me a favor. Watch this clip and see what you can figure out about this character. Ready, set, go. So what you learn about him? Because here's what I got. This character cares about two things: order and efficiency. Flat on shots to convey order and rapid cutting to convey efficiency. And I really admire filmmakers who do this. Use the unique aspects of the medium to convey ideas to an audience. And I think one of the best to do it is a kid from Queens.
But we tried to not keep the cutting of the film in straight narrative. Takes the rag in his hand, then it jump cuts and he's cleaning up the back seat. And that was the idea, to try to keep disorienting the sense of anxiety and uneasiness that we wanted to give the audience.
If you go through Scorsese's work, you'll find tons of unique uses to convey emotion through editing and camera movement. And it's interesting to hear him describe his process.
You take one image and you put it together with another image, and there's a third phantom event that happens in the mind's eye. Something happens that's absolutely unique to this particular combination or collision of moving images.
Now, I don't really understand what he means by that, phantom images and mind's eye shit, but we can definitely explore some of the techniques he uses to accomplish it. So, let's get right to it.
I've only got 20. Can you break it?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Let's start with editing. Scorsese's signature technique here is juxtaposition. If you look at the majority of his scene transitions, there's always some sort of contrast in the images. If a shot goes up in one scene, it comes down to the next. If a scene ends on a slow lingering shot, the next does this. This changing of the visual rhythm helps give Scorsese's movies that signature burst of energy that he's known for. But he can also contrast images for more obvious narrative purposes, such as create sympathy for a character with a single cut. Like here, when we go from a cheating husband to his happy wife. But more commonly, he uses it to create a narrative flow, because unlike many films, Scorsese's pictures don't tend to have an overarching goal like find the lost ark.
Stay out of the light.
I've seen him connect scenes with a single word,
You look like a gangster.
contrasting emotions,
Don't you see how this demeans me?
and I don't even know how to describe this one, I just think it's cool. So, if that's what Scorsese does between scenes, what does he do within a scene? Well, for one, he'll often break the rule that editing should be invisible.
When we edit a picture, a movie, we put one image next to another image to create the impression of a continuous action. And then there are variations. I mean, you play with it. Discontinuities, ellipses, surprising cuts that sort of take you and reorient your sense of time and place, you know.
Here, in order to emphasize a character's frustration, he'll make the cuts really jarring and remove all sense of continuity.
Rossi, you are nothing but a whore! Is this the superintendent?
And other times, he'll do shit that just blows my mind. Like here in Raging Bull, after this character has retired from boxing. He'll insert rapid cuts into a fairly quiet and calm scene where on first viewing you don't really understand why. But once you've seen how the boxing scenes are edited, it makes a lot more sense. The speed of the cut tells us that the violence in the ring is still present in his life. This is some real high-level movie-making math shit, and is a technique that Scorsese learned from Hitchcock.
And you could begin to see Perkins get just a little bit undone. He goes, oh, something I forgot. And there's a quick cut. He hits the switch, and it cuts the word Bates, bang, like that, a neon, and it cuts right back. That's the knife. That's the knife in the shower scene. You know that's the knife, you've already seen him do it. So that cut becomes a weapon.
But that's not the only thing he's learned from Hitchcock.
Because there's a very strange shot. Hitchcock doesn't cut to an over the shoulder down. He doesn't cut to an angle looking up at Perkins. He lets Perkins move his head so you see the bottom of his chin for a long period of time. It's very awkward, and it has a real sense of unease about it and tension.
And this brings us to our last point. How he uses the camera. Whereas many filmmakers like the camera to be a neutral observer, Scorsese's camera puts us directly in the mind of the character. With a simple POV shot, he can show us a character's motivation. A telephoto lens can convey paranoia.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy?
And a 90-mile-per-hour dolly shot kind of makes me want to try cocaine for the first time.
I'm a rolling stone.
This really stands out when you compare him against other filmmakers. In this scene, this goofy-looking man is very upset, and the camera doesn't move. But in Scorsese's scene, did you feel the difference? Scorsese's visual storytelling can be so clear that without any sound, you can understand what's happening in a scene just by the speed of the camera.
Where's the pediatric card?
While this baby is alive, we get fast whip pans and tracking shots. But when the baby doesn't make it,
I think I got a pulse. I think.
that is impressive filmmaking. And there's a whole generation of filmmakers who've been influenced by Scorsese's style. I see his dolly shots in the work of Paul Thomas Anderson, his close-ups in Edgar Wright, and his aggressive editing in Damien Chazelle.
Certainly my editor and I, when editing this movie, had Raging Bull on a loop, and
But now, let's take it back to the beginning. After everything we've covered, do we better understand this?
You take one image and you put it together with another image, and there's a third phantom event that happens in the mind's eye.
I think what Scorsese's kind of getting at is creating subtext. That part of the script that you can't really read, you just don't see it on the page.
Rupert, he's saying he wants us to go.
No, he's not saying that.
It's why his movies feel so rich and full, because you're always being given this second layer of information and meaning to the story. And this makes me really happy because while so many filmmakers try to accomplish everything through writing, it's comforting to know that we still have an old master like Scorsese who can do all that they can just with the visuals. Someone who can simply set up a villain with an extreme close-up, scare us with a few cuts,
He looked like he was gonna enjoy it. Yes?
and tell us why people get married. With just one cut.
Mazel tov.
Thanks for watching.